Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Hold Please.
I said,
What I said.
Hey, 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 how are y'all doing tonight?
Doing well. How about yourself, Sharon?
I'm a little hot right now, but I'm doing good.
and I'm just the opposite. I'm cold.
Really?
I'll be cold.
Yeah, I got a hoodie on.
Oh, you do got a hoodie on.
I'll be cold in a minute.
It's hot.
I've been sitting on the porch with the hoodie on.
It's
Mm,
it's cool. It's cool there.
To me,
Oh, okay. Like,
all right. So, Ray Tasha, what you got for us tonight? How you doing?
I am doing well. I am doing well, and I you know, I come thoughts come up in your head and all of that. And if for those of y'all who don't know, sometimes doing on my lunch breaks and stuff, I take a nap. And this topic popped up in my head, and I thought, why not talk about it?
Why not? Let's talk about
Why not talk about it? But before we get into the topic, let's talk about what books we may have read this past week, if any.
it.
How about you, Savannah?
This week. Let me think. I'm trying to think, did I finish a book or I actually had a book club meeting tonight and we read In the Company of My Sisters by Angie Daniels, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So pretty good discussion, good discussion. And I'm currently reading Sherelle Green Sinful Restraints, and I'm listening to Michelle Lindo Rice, A Summer for the Books.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you, Ash?
all right. So I finished up the messages of rediscovering the kingdom by Miles Monroe, which is more of a Christian book. Um, but then I had started a book called Armed with Good Intention, which is by Wallow. Wallow is now honestly a podcaster, businessman, etc. But just kind of goes through his life story, um, his time that he served in prison, basically. But you know how basically God had looked out for him along the way, you know, and he knew he wasn't destined to stay in prison forever. But just how he, you know, taught himself um, some really read some different books while he was in prison and really realized that his niche was marketing, and kind of just how he turned his life on, which was a very interesting book. And um, honestly, you learn a lot about the prison system too, to be quite
Mhm.
honest, and how his life was inside, etc. So that's what I read. I finished this. Actually, I finished it up today. So,
So you finished two books.
right? Surprisingly, yes, I finished 2 books this week.
You ahead of your schedule, ain't you?
I think I'm just getting caught up. I think I'm like maybe one book behind again or something. I think I'm one book behind.
Well, let's see. I finished this week three books. One, I think our last podcast I had just started the British book that I've been reading, and I finished that by Alex Castle. I also finished another book called Whirlwind by Kayla Gross, and I finished Shavana Chicago Blues by Ty Love or Ty. So I
Oh, yeah.
have
We
been
got
on
to
a
discuss that.
roll. Yeah, it's really good. It was really good. I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been on a roll, and currently I'm listening to a Sherelle. Wait a minute. I don't know what I'm listening or reading to because it's two or three different books. But anyways, that's that. So what about TV shows? Have we watched any TV shows this week, Ashley?
Oh, I'm almost I think I have maybe 3 more episodes left in Fire Country, and it has taken an interesting turn. So I hope you guys eventually catch up and watch it before the
I'm
new
on.
season comes out. But then of course I've been watching Big Brother. And take that back. I have watched, you guys probably didn't watch it, but I have watched the Black story. I think
Beyond the Gates.
Beyond the Gates. Yes, I've been watching Beyond the Gates, and that has been an interesting roller coaster in and of itself. I encourage y'all out there to watch Beyond the Gates. Keep in mind, though, as a kid, I did not watch stories like that, but they come out with the first Black one, and I'm all over it. So it's an interesting dynamic, but that's what I've been watching.
So who went home tonight on Big Brother? I ain't watching.
No, well, I didn't watch that because I was asleep. But so I can't really tell you who went home tonight.
I'll pull it up later.
That's funny. Okay. No. All right.
What type of shows did you watch this week?
I actually am caught up and was watching All the Queen's Men. And I just hate I ain't got nobody to discuss it with.
So first of all, you didn't even tell me you was watching All the Queen's Men, and you didn't tell me when you was starting, because I thought we discussed this. So now I gotta play catch up because you don't watch it without me. It's a whole situation. We'll talk about it later. I digress. Ray.
Well, for one thing, I thought you weren't gonna watch it, and then I purposely didn't say who I was waiting to watch it with because I didn't think you was watching it, and you just threw it all out there.
Well, that's one of the shows that we have watched together.
I know we have watched it together, but I thought you were,
well, I have
not watching it anymore, so I was.
Well, okay. Well, okay. We'll talk about it. Ray, what have you watched other than your? I hope you're not about to. I know you're about to say your. What are you about to say?
Well, you already know what I've been watching. As a matter of fact, before we got on here, I was watching it, Midsummer Murders, and
Here we go.
Intended to get off of work and come in my room and take a nap, but I turned that on, and the next thing you know, I was into it. So I never took my nap. So when we get off of here, guess what?
Go back to it.
Yeah. So
I don't put like she was gonna go to sleep. No, she going back to the show.
Right. Exactly. Like folks don't gotta get up in the morning though. That's my thing.
Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. Yes. Good.
Yeah.
So everyone.
She's excited.
You excited about this? I don't know how to feel, Shavonna.
It's an interesting topic, and it carries a lot of different perspectives. So with that being said, you all, today our topic is love, right? So, and actually was like, what?
Right. Yeah, because I was like, wait, we're gonna talk about love.
Yes, love. Biblically, non-biblically, we're gonna put it all in there.
Okay.
So, the one of the greatest things that we know of all things is love. That's biblical, right? So there's 4 types of loves in the Bible. There is agape, which is the highest form of unconditional, like a God love, right? It's sacrificial love, right? And then there's, and I ain't gonna be able to say the rest of these. Agape, we know, everybody probably knows that one. And we all know eros, which is the romantic love. That's the type of love that a couple experiences. And then we have the philia. Say it, Ashley.
Of course, if you wouldn't have say it, Ashley. Philo.
Ashley, fellow, yeah, fellow.
Philo.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
spot. I had to think about it. I had to think about
Sorry.
how to pronounce it. Philia.
And that's your brotherly love, like your friendships and your close knit love. Maybe your love for one another, right? And then we
Right.
also have the storge, storge, which is love between a parent and a child. So those are the four um, that we speak of in the Bible, and not to be too intense and everything. And y'all know, people out there, y'all know I'm gonna crack some jokes, and I probably say something that is inappropriate. But just know it's not to be offensive. It's just me being me, right? So let's start with storge. Storge is a love between, like I said, a parent and a child. And I wanted to get, since Shavana is a parent, and Ashley and I both could only experience that type of love based off of our parents, not us having kids. But Shavana has, and I'm not trying to put your whole life story out there, but pretty much everybody that know you, you have two kids that are biological, and one that is from a previous relationship that you claim as your own. How did that love first come about between you and your oldest child? Like, when you seen him, was it love at first sight? Was it love like unconditional? Like, as soon as you seen him, it was like, I'm in love. Forget his daddy.
Not forget his this.
I love me some daddy. Well, I don't know if you ever said your husband's name on podcast, so I call him daddy for now.
So when you say my first,
Your oldest child, DJ.
okay, because I mean you separated it at first, so I'm trying to
Yeah.
put that together. Oh, that was my cutie. No, it wasn't forget his daddy. It was no, that was yeah, that was an instant love. He took my heart, and my thinking was, oh, gotta get in good with him so I can get daddy.
Mm.
But yes, when DJ entered my life, he was 5 years old. Sweetest little boy. Tried to get me for money.
Don't they all?
Yes. McDonald's, take me to McDonald's. Give me $5. Not they don't even ask for dollars no more. But yeah, that was an instant love with him.
So experiencing the instant love for him, and like you said, you was trying to get in with his dad as well. But once you and your husband developed a relationship and even got married or whatever, and you have this small kid, and then I think a child on the way. How did you react to now having a husband and a child?
I don't think I reacted any different. It was just extra
'Cause
love. More
it
love.
was a new experience for you.
Yeah, it was yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was a different experience, but I mean, I've always loved him as my own. I always, and then even with a baby on the way, um, I don't know, right? It just,
Just happened.
yeah, I was happy.
Well, for those of y'all who don't know Shavana's story, she does have a book. It is I don't know if y'all can see it. Y'all ain't gonna be able to see it.
No, we can't see it. What the book at?
Hold on, hold on, hold on,
We have to put
hold
it in the
on.
chat. I mean, we got to put it in the description.
There it is.
My book club has a book, and I have a story in that book.
So the book is called Turning Trials
Into
Triumphs. And I think that's a amazing
title.
title. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes, Ashley, do you feel that it's hard to love one another? Love thy enemy. Luke 6:35. Do good to them.
Okay, is the question, do I feel like it's hard to love our our enemies or our neighbors? Which one?
Our enemies. Turning trials into triumphs. I'm assuming that sometimes enemies are, it's a trial too. So we trying to turn them into triumphs.
Um, so I'll say this. I think that it's challenging to sometimes do that, to love our enemies. But I will say, though, that we can do all things through Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when we actually set our intention and our mind and our heart posture in the direction of Christ, then it's not that difficult and it's not that hard, right?
Right.
We're called to be the example.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, we don't always want to be the example, right, of what how we should respond or how we should react. But I think there's no greater example than Jesus himself. I mean, he looked at an enemy that was close to him and betrayed him, but yet he never responded in a way that caused him to get out of character. I mean, Jesus and Judas. I mean, that's literally what it is. So I don't think that is. I think that it initially is off-putting, and I think it's initially a challenge because we're naturally human. We're human beings, right? We don't, we have emotion. But I think that when we put Christ first and we are obedient to Him, and living by His example, we can do all things through Him. So it's not impossible for us to love our enemies in spite of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. So, Shavana, let me ask you this. We know love is kind, right? We know that love doesn't fail. But we also know that Paul said that when you speak in love. So how do you think you apply that through your daily walk?
I tried to speak in love, but I am human. I do ask for grace.
Yes.
Um, daily walk. I was about to say something funny.
You
Ooh, like good thing I don't talk to a lot of people during the day.
Oh Lord. She mostly talks to me, and I know she loves me, so
Um, I mean, I try my hardest. I'm gonna say 95% try my hardest to, you know,
mm-hmm.
in my daily walk talk in love and encourage people and say and do the right things. My mouth can be, what was the book, Ashley? Taming the
Oh,
Tongue.
Taming the Tongue. Woo. We encourage y'all to read that. Actually, we probably need to go back, Shavana.
Ashley, I ain't never read it.
Yeah. Oh, you
For
never
being
read
honest,
it,
I never read
Shavana.
it.
That is terrible.
I did not read
The
it, but
truths that are coming out on this podcast.
hey, I ain't gonna lie, I did not read it. Pretty sure I need to, but as a dear friend used to tell me, I had no tact, so I had to learn to tame the tongue. I just told somebody that this week that somebody used to tell me all the time I had no tact. So it's an everyday battle. Because I've always been a smart mouth. I've always had a smart mouth. I don't like what is it called? Rhetorical questions and stuff. And I get kind of sarcastic with that rhetorical stuff.
So speaking of Ashley, when you was a kid and smart mouths, you've heard it before. how do you feel like you handle speaking in love? I know as a kid, when she said smart mouth, you would say, I think, didn't you say you used to tell a story about having a smart mouth? Maybe not. Was that
Hold up.
you?
Me or Siobhan?
You should, Ashley.
Um, okay. So yes, there's a story. I don't know if it's so much I guess it was considered a smart mouth. I guess. You would have to ask our auntie. I think you would have to ask our auntie because
Mhm.
uh yeah, so I guess funny thing is as a kid, I think I was more outspoken. It's kind of
Mhm.
hard to explain. More outspoken and probably more of an outgoing personality as a kid. Especially with family. And so I was one of those kids that at times um I ain't gonna say said what I want. Because I ain't cuss or anything. But my responses may have not been the most appropriate for a child. Just
That was me too.
maybe more like it was an adult response, but I was a kid. If that gives any context to it, I didn't cuss at nobody or do anything like that. It was more like put your seatbelt on. I was like, no. So more defiant, I guess, in some ways. I think it was only with certain people, but there were certain stories. So, do you think the question was, do I think that it's hard to respond in love, even though as a kid I was, um, I'm gonna honestly say no. And the reason I'm gonna say that is even though I had moments of young, but young with adult responses, probably is the best way to put that. Um, I also was very much and still am a very like compassionate person. Um, So a lot of times my thought process, I'm gonna say always, is what is the deeper root of whatever situation with a person. I try to think through that piece of it. Um, I'm not perfect, so I'm not gonna say that that's the thought or the response all the time. But I realize that people respond in a way because there's some other deep rooted issue that may not have anything to do with me at all.
Mhm.
Um, so I think I've always been that way and realized that early that you're not really upset with me or you're not really sad about what I said, but more so that there's something more of a deep rooted issue. So I don't think that it's necessarily hard. Um, I do. The Lord is a keeper,
Mhm.
and He will keep your tongue too.
Mhm.
Um, as I've recalled in my adulthood, being in situations. I mean, I remember being a cashier and a lady was tripping out on me at the register. And I kindly checked this woman out to the best of my ability. And I got to a point where I looked at my coworker and said, I'm going to the break room. I am no longer about to participate in this. I'm allowing you to check this person out. So I think, I've had moments of testing in that way.
Mhm.
But I don't think that it's necessarily always hard to do. I think actually people are more actually taken back when you don't respond in the way that's negative or what have you, because it's almost like you're taking charge in that situation. And in my case, in that particular incident, this lady was being rude and nasty to me, and I'm trying to cash you out.
Mhm.
And I kindly got through it up to a point where I looked at the coworker and said, "You're gonna have to take over this transaction because I can't. I'm not entertaining this. I'm going to the back before I say something or do something that's gonna cause me to get in trouble." Um, So I've had moments where I really had to think through my responses, I guess. So I don't think it's necessarily a difficult thing, but I hope that answers your question. Answer your question.
Yes, yes, my questions.
Okay.
And the Bible does speak, since you was talking about it, um, taming the tongue, and I know it's probably in that book Taming the Tongue. Oh, that's the name of the book. Um, there is a scripture that if people out there want to kind of look at it or whatever, it is in James 3:8-12. And it, the Bible speaks of how there's good and bad in the power of the tongue. So we got to be mindful of stuff like that. So with that being said, I know I'm asking y'all all the questions and I haven't answered none of them.
No, you really haven't, but it's okay because I was gonna wait to the end.
Okay.
Okay.
I was coming back to at the end, but okay, go ahead.
What one of the reasons why this topic was so strong. Yesterday I had an incident, and on the way to work, I was so frustrated on the way to my second job. I was so frustrated with this incident that I had to calm down, basically, right? I know I had reached out to you and Shavana. I reached out to my brother and my other cousin and got everybody's opinion on the situation. And this morning I even talked to my aunt, and I even asked my aunt, hey, are you disappointed in me? Because the storge love, I look at my aunt. Yes, she's my aunt, but she's more of a mother figure as well. Okay. Mama worked all the time, and grandmama and my aunt and a couple other aunts had to watch me me and my brother, when mama worked. Mama worked two jobs. Um, so I even asked her, I said, are you disappointed in me? I understand that. And the reason why this love comment hit so hard is because as a child, you look towards your parent for, oh, I look towards to my parent for love. Now, my mother loves me. And when I walked in and told her what I had to tell her, she choked on her water. She was drinking, she choked on the water, and she was like, what? So when I asked my aunt, are you disappointed in me? I waited for that, and she was like, no. And the reason why I asked her that is because I look at people and say, if I don't do this, they won't love me. So I still try to keep this same line of going, right? Um, so I can continue to get the love. And I think my fear was why I held on for so long was I was gonna lose some love from somebody, right? So that being said, it's funny how God works. The whole time I was making my decision and praying on my decision, I was at work, and long story short, I did put my notice in at my second job. And I know a lot of people was like, girl, it's just a little second job. But to me, it was so much more. Um, but I was there trying to debate and praying whether I should do this or not. And I was listening to Chicago Blue. And I said, this ain't going to help me make my decision. And just so happened, I ain't gonna say my pastor, but a pastor that I have started following here in Louisville. His church is, what is it, Greater Israel Baptist Church, Ashley?
Yeah, that's correct.
And his name is Bishop Brian Linton. And I just so happened, I was like, it's 7 o'clock. His Bible study starts at 7:30, and just so happened I clicked on it, and guess what he was talking about? Love. And it popped up again while I was sleeping. today. Love, right? So how does it affect us? How does it, and at the end of the day, I was like, you can still be loved and you can still love other people, but you gotta love yourself, right? And at this point, I was thinking I was being taken advantage of, and I didn't know how to stand up for that love for myself. I can stand up. And he even mentioned in his Bible study, those with kids and people will lay down their life for their kids. But my question was to myself was, how can I love myself in this situation? I need to stand up for myself. So that's one of the reasons why we're talking about it. I had to stand up for myself, and I felt like I was being taken advantage of a little bit because I kept asking the same question, right? So when I keep asking the same question and you're not doing anything about it, cause and effect, right? So I had to love myself and love the people around me. That's why I was saying love your enemy. You know, how is it to speak in tongues? Because the God told me that I had to pray for my manager.
That we have a new podcast.
And he told me that night, last night, he said, you pray for her. You got to sit down and pray for her. I want you to pray for her. And I said, well, God, do I pray now or do I pray at the end of my notice? So I obviously didn't pray last night. So I guess I ain't gonna say it's still time, but I should have been obedient then, right then, and did it. Um, and the reason why I said that is because we know that love is kind, right? Love is kind, it doesn't fail. So that's one of the reasons why I felt like God said, you got to pray for her. She's not my enemy. I do have the Filippo love for fellow people. Fellow
Philo or philia. It's
Philia.
beautiful. Yeah, philia. I think Philia, but a lot of people say Philo,
Yeah,
Philo. You know, technically
Philo.
Philo.
I do have a brotherly love for her, so I couldn't say that love, she was an actual enemy, but we all know that there is something that we are called to do. So also, we're called to do another thing out of love, and that is to take action. Because love is also an action word. So, Ashley, how do you demonstrate love in actions?
I think love is intentional, and so sometimes in action, it is sometimes it's just listening to your loved ones or your friends. Um, Sometimes it means praying for them, right? The Bible talks about us praying without ceasing, right? So technically, we should be praying all the time.
Right.
Doesn't mean we're always out, always boisterous about it, but we should be praying all the time, right? I think the other thing is offering wisdom where I can, if asked for it. Working on that, if asked for it, but providing wisdom, right? And trying to give some level of resolve or some level of direction using wisdom, right? Godly wisdom to direct people. Sometimes it's just, I love you, right? I mean, to even say it is an action. And I don't know, sometimes we don't say it enough to people, right? Um, and then also too is just trying to be there for people, even in spite of, and that depends, right? Because there's sometimes you're dealing with your own stuff, but sometimes that's the sacrifice. I think love is sacrifice. It's not always about me, but what is it that I'm giving up for someone else? Or how can I help in other ways? Or how can I be a blessing, right? It's something as simple as, hey, I got free tickets to this. You want to go? Or um, not always, I guess, looking for something in return from people, right? Love is given freely. I mean, we're giving it freely from Christ. So it's like it should be given freely. Like I don't have to abstain my love for someone because I need something in return. Um, I don't know. I guess y'all are probably the better ones to answer how I show it versus me trying to answer how I show it. But I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I ain't gonna say that's it, but those are the things that come to mind right now. But I think y'all are better suited to answer that question as it relates to me because I hope I show y'all love. I don't know. Sometimes it's lightening the mood too, right? When it's something crazy going on and you know, joking and playing. And, I don't know, being available when somebody needs you, and that might mean they need a favor. It might mean, can you pick this up? Might mean, hey, I just thought about you because this is something you like. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think those are the things. That's my best answer. I don't know. But I actually think you and Shawana got to answer that as it relates to me because you don't always see yourself. So you don't always know how people view your love, per se.
Okay. Well, I'll answer that, but I want to ask Shawana, how does she feel love is an action? I will answer it, and Shawana, if you want me to answer it for both of you all, uh, let me know.
Sure, why not, right?
Mhm.
I agree with everything that Ashley said. Personally, I think, and I like Ashley, y'all have to tell me too, but I think I show love by being there, trying to be there, trying to be helpful, listening, praying for you. And we can kind of throw our love language in there. And mine is kind of like acts of service. Um, I know what Ashley's is. I'm not gonna say it, but I know what Ashley's is. What Ashley has says hers is. Um,
Hey, how I scored? I don't know. Well, go ahead.
right.
I
Um,
scored.
yeah, so I just feel like, whatever I can do to help someone, or I don't know if I told Ray or whatever, I feel like I have a little of the takeover spirit. Oh, it was Mary, I told it. I feel like I have a little takeover spirit, but I feel like I'm doing it not being bossy or taking over. I just feel like if I'm good in an area and it's something that somebody needs me for, and I try to jump in and help and do kind of see that I be kind of like taking over. But I don't mean to do it in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? It's just me. I like to help people. I try to help people as much as I can. So that's how I feel like love is an action that I show. So
So, with that being said, Shawana, I'm going to answer Ashley's question for you first, since you said that with the takeover, quote unquote, spirit. Um, Whenever I've been in the hospital, Shawana has been there. So this particular time, I was uh
I don't know to laugh or cry.
Yeah, I
um
know. I be laughing because sorry, Ray. We be laughing because the stuff that happened, y'all. It was not
Right.
funny at the time of everything
Later.
happening. I want to put that disclaimer out there. However, there was a funny story in the midst
oh,
of the,
you
and
know
this is
what?
how good God is, really, because
It's
we can.
God is. I forgot about that story. I was going to say another story
Oh,
that
okay, all right, okay.
but let's talk about that one. There's two of them.
Oh Lord.
That real quick. I was in the hospital and I told them that I didn't feel good, and I kept saying, I'm gonna pass out.
Lord forgive me, but she did say that. And it sounds so dramatic in this story, y'all. Disclaimer. At the time, it was not funny. We went into action. However, okay,
I
go
don't know.
ahead.
I think me and Ashley, Shavana, and the rest of my family never found it funny, but I think me and Ashley found it funny
We
from
did.
the beginning.
We did because it was like when we talked about it later, it was like, man, it was so dramatic, but it was so real in the moment at the same time. Go ahead,
very,
Ray. Sorry, I'm going
very
over.
dramatic. And what we said was, I said, I'm gonna pass out. And it was Shavana and my uncle's wife there, and they said, no, you're not. And I always joke with her, and I say, you slapped me because I was passing out. And
This
he
is a
always
true
say, no, I
story.
didn't. And my uncle would say, my wife didn't slap you. I was like, she slapped me. I know. I was there. She slapped me. I passed out. I was passing out. It's okay because I was passing out and they didn't want me to go under. But I was going under. And poor
She was.
Shavana, Shavana got the biggest scare. I think the part that me and Ashley find hilarious is because it happened so fast. The medics came in, the nurses, the chaplain. It happened so fast. I was going down. And Shavana, nor my uncle's wife, she was pregnant at the time, could keep me up. I'm still a big girl, right? So they couldn't keep me up. So I remember Shavana.
Weak on the left side.
Yeah, I was on the left side and I kept saying, I'm gonna go down. They was like, no. I was like, yeah, I'm going down. And again, she slapped me, but it's okay, right? So when
This
I
is a
remember,
true story. She literally said, I'm about to pass out. They was like, no, you're not. She's like,
no,
I'm
you're
about to
not. And
pass
I was like,
out.
yeah,
She starts to
yeah,
pass out and she did get slapped. This is a true story.
true story. And at some point I came to, and I remember saying to the nurse, what's your name? I don't know what I had this big obsession with everybody's name, right? I remember saying to the nurse, what's your name? And she said, what was it, like Sheena or something like that? It was like, and not to be racist or anything, but it was a black name. She was this white, lily white lady, right? And I said, what?
So in all of her medical distress, if you will, she could process that, wait a minute, and we just got this connection. It just is what it is, y'all. We just got this connection that I understood when she asked the woman, what's your name again? In all her medical distress, that she couldn't process why this woman's name was Shayna.
Yeah.
From a cultural perspective, Shayna is generally in the culture, and this lady wasn't from the culture, and it wasn't funny at the time, but I was cracking up inside because she's in medical distress, and this is what her mind is thinking without actually saying the words.
Right. And meanwhile, I think at some point, Shavana looked down at some paperwork, maybe, and
It was hard.
it was hard. That paperwork was Shavana, you have to say it because I can't remember. I knew it was something about like
It was
DC.
calling in the chaplain. It was
Yeah, now the
not funny.
chaplain.
It was death records.
Oh. And Shavana took that hard. Right? So that's when we talk about why me and Ashley can laugh about it and Shavana can't, because she still goes back to that point where she thought the chaplain's here to take and comfort the family. So, but the takeover spirit, I say to the next story is she wasn't leaving my side I ain't gonna say the last, I think it was the last one, operation. that I had in North Carolina. And she wasn't leaving my side. And I laid in that bed all day. You don't remember, do you? You remember
I'm
your
trying to think
face?
of the one where they was freezing me in the room. Was it that one?
Yeah. And this is where I say love is an action for Shavana, because I ended up getting sick after the operation, and they ended up keeping me. And when we was in the car, when we was got to the room, they put me in this room and everything. I kept saying, "I'm so cold. I'm so cold. I'm so cold." And they gave me what, 2 or 3 blankets, Shavana.
Mhm.
And poor Shavana, love is an action, y'all. Was the cold when I got hot. Because I got sick. And once I started feeling better, I got hot, took the blankets and threw them off or whatever. And Shavana said, I spent the night with you. She left her family. I'm not sure. Yeah, she left her family and spent the night with me at the hospital. And Shavana said, you over there hollering about you cold. Now all of a sudden you hot. And I'm over here freezing. I said, well, Shavana, you could have had some of my blankets. So
She
look,
made sure you was
like,
warm while she sat and froze all night for you.
All night.
Froze all night for you, right?
Sitting up in the chair freezing.
love is an action.
She didn't pull the blankets off the bed. She still had the blankets because it was cold in the room. She was still wrapped up. She wasn't hot.
Oh, she thought she was.
Yeah. They ain't offer me no blanket. I'm just sitting over there with a sweater on. I think it was summer too, and I had on shorts, and it was
Oh
freezing.
man, it's cold.
So with Ashley, I'm gonna give you an example of one of your love actions. Um, this was when I was younger and doing my party thing and drinking and stressed out. At Shavana's house, and me and a good friend. And Ashley's working at Kohl's, and me and a good friend, we just having a good time and we're drinking. And I won't put the friend's name out there,
That
but
Paul?
We're
Was
gonna
that
protect the innocent. We're
was
gonna
that the night
protect
of
the
Paul?
innocent. We're gonna
yeah,
protect the innocent.
Oh, that
well,
was the night of Paul. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
they
brother
met
Paul,
Paul.
Paul in the Bible, but Paul Massant. Um, and to this day, I still mess with Paul,
Yeah.
right?
Paul.
Well, it was Peach Paul too.
Mhm.
Um, well, Peach Paul got gone, and then another Peach Paul came and got gone. I think it was 2 or 3 Peach Pauls that got gone that night. Well, long story short, I couldn't drive home. Shavana called Ashley and said, "Hey, you need to come get your cousin." And we was riding down the street, and I said, "Ashley, I'm gonna get sick." And don't you know I got sick, and that chick helped me. That chick, why I ain't gonna say wash, but she made sure when I threw up, she was there. She did this, that, and the other. I mean, that's an action because I'm not gonna do it. You could throw up all over the world, and guess who's not gonna help you? So I felt like Ashley, that's your action. You know what I'm saying? You are a helpful person, right? So
She must
Oh
that
man.
she must have I don't know, was that the next day when you was still sick when I had to come over there and take over?
yep, you sure did. I
Yeah, because
was
it was rough. It was rough through the night. It was. It
that
was
was a
rough.
rough one. It was coming. It was a rough night, and
Paul needed to get kicked out.
Paul should have been kicked out, but yet and still, I went to Alabama and I said, "Oh, look, Paul's on sale," and there it is. That's the only brown liquor that I drink and be happy about it, right?
It was a sneak up list.
Uh,
Well, I will say this. If you ever get sick and Ray can't help you clean up, she gonna call back up for sure. She's not gonna leave you hanging per se. She gonna call back up because she can't handle that part of it. She gonna call back up. So she ain't gonna leave you hanging. I just want to put that out there for the people. I want you to think she just leave us hanging, but she gonna call back up, and back up usually come through whoever she called. So it works out.
yeah, and for those of you all who's out there wondering, some of the stuff that everything that I've gotten and came up with and asked the questions, it is all biblical. There are scriptures out there. There's stuff that I researched this morning. There's also stuff that I got from Bishop Linton, um, uh, with scriptures and stuff like that as he was going through his lesson. And one of the things that I'm hoping that um, he said something very interesting. And I said, um, he said that if you love me, he said, come anniversary time, all these people come up and give me hugs and they give me their envelopes and they do this and they do that. He said, but if you really love me, and a lot of the people in the congregation, I was looking at it because I was at work, was like, give you a bigger salary. And he was like, no, come to Sunday school. He said, come to Bible study. And it dawned on me because I think I was telling Shavana, dude, I used to be so much into the church. Now I just want to lay down, right? So it is not saying that I have a love for God, right? And I need to feed that love. So all of these conversations and stuff that I've said, it is biblical. I did get it from the Bible. Love is an action. It's First John 3:18. So it also says love and truth is truth. So but before we get out of here, I wanted to ask the question, how do you feel about the scripture 1 Corinthians 13:4, which says, love is long suffering, Shavana?
Oh, how you go straight in long suffering?
Now,
It,
Paul said that, right? So it's in the New Testament, obviously. So how do you, and a lot of people, um, if it helps you, say long suffering is also can be said as patient, being patient um with stuff. So like say for instance, um I want to say it,
that I've been married for 30 years.
that's long suffering, but it's also being patient, right? So go ahead.
Tell me the question again. How is it?
How do you demonstrate love, long suffering?
And how do you
Love is long suffering,
love is long suffering?
suffering long,
How do I
which
demonstrate?
yeah, which is being patient.
Well, up until 2015, I would have said I was a very patient person. Um, but after 2015, my patience are very thin, um, due to a medical situation. But how do I deal with it? I don't know, a lot of praying, a lot of talking to y'all, a lot of just, I don't know how to answer that.
Well, Ashley, what you think? How do you deal with the long suffering? Because love is long suffering, right? So that's what Paul said.
So, trying to think through an example. Um,
I'm suffering through these hot
so
flashes.
I think it's that's real, Shamana.
I was
That's
just
real,
cold.
real.
Now I'm hot again.
Um, Long suffering. I think I will use when you're sometimes dealing with people that are not so kind, not so um maybe just very, very much careless, right? I have
Mm-hmm.
had to endure people who I didn't think had a good character, didn't have good morals, and it really does take God. Honestly, it takes the Christ within you to really be long suffering, and especially with those that you might have the philo relationship with, right? Because they're generally like coworkers, and in some cases you build up a level of intense friendship with people, but it takes a lot of praying, and it definitely takes you renewing your mind every day. But I would also say, like, like from a family perspective, or a parent may not agree with what their child has done or said, or the habits that they've grown with. They may choose to not be in their vicinity, but they never stop loving their child. And that's what I think, and is long suffering is patience, right? They kind of don't lose hope on their child. I've seen that. For me, it's just, always remembering that people can change, although in the heat of the moment it doesn't seem like they will. But people can change, and I think learning how to treat people even when they mistreat you or say negative and or lies about you is really love being shown, right? Because you think through all the things you could do, all the things you could say, but yet you never do those things because you have a love for Christ, because you have a love to want to see people do well. And you know that your words can cut people down. I mean, words are sharp, right?
Yes.
So I think sometimes when we're able to endure people that are not so friendly, not so loving, but we choose not to engage in those same ways, that's the long suffering. Like, that's love, long suffering, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Also to that point, long suffering is also the obedience that comes with living, walking the walk, right, with Christ. Sometimes it's also blessing those that wouldn't bless you, or blessing those that have said some foul, ill things. I've literally been in a position where I realized that I had the authority in situations to really mess up somebody's future. Off the strength of the way they treated me, how they done me, what they said about me, all in combination. And because I love a person enough to say, I don't want this to be a negative experience for you, I refrain from doing what I could do. And I think that's really love at its core, right? I have the power and or the authority in a situation to change your whole world.
Right.
Because of how you may have treated or done me. But because I am God's child, it's love that causes me not to put you in that situation. Because I could. And it's the scariest thing when you realize you have that ability in situations, but you don't use it in that way when you could. Right. And I think that that's probably a roundabout way, probably one of the better examples in everything I said, right? When you have the authority or the opportunity to change somebody's whole world, but you choose not to because Christ lives in you, and because you can see the end results of that happening and the downward spiral of that, think that's love, long suffering, literally,
Mm-hmm.
because it's me being obedient to not put you in that situation, although I could.
Right.
And I think the saddest part is that sometimes people don't even realize how much grace really abounds upon their life.
Right.
They don't have no clue. And you can only hope and pray that they do better with whoever else they encounter or whoever else they talk to, etc. So that would be my.
Okay. So you said something very interesting, and before you all ask me a few questions, if you will, I did some research on some of this conversation, and Pastor Dewey, I think I'm saying his name right, Pastor Dewey. Am I saying his name right? Chewy, Ooh, something like that. He's a pastor,
Yeah.
and he's well known. He was on a panel, and he gave the example because you brought it up, Ashley, in your comment. He gave the example of Christ loving us, right? And he said this was an example of homosexuality, right? He said if you have a child that's in love with someone of their same sex, you got to still love them, right? And he said even though um they're you don't believe in what they're doing, you don't approve of what they're doing, they they disappoint you time after time, this, that, and the other. And this could go for anybody. He said, because guess what? You know how many times I have disappointed God, and yet He still gives me mercy. I'm still a
Good.
child.
That's good.
And when he said it like that, I found a new love for it, right? And love today was just all over me, right? Um, I found a new love for it because I said he's right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, your kids are going to disappoint you. Yeah, your kids are going to do stuff that is upsetting. Yeah, your friends are going to do something that's upsetting. Sometimes they get on your nerves, but you still got to love them, right? And reason why we're called to love, God is love, right? So, and that's biblical, y'all. John, 1 John 4, 7 and 8. I think that's what it is. Sometimes I can't read my writing. But God is love, right? So we're called to love. He said the greater of these is what? Love, right? So that's just my spiel on it, you all. Um, Ashley, Shavana, y'all have any comments, questions, comments, or concerns?
I just want to say how I feel like you show love. Um, she used to always put my eye drops in my eyes, and I need her to put something in there right now. Nobody else can put my eye drops in my eyes.
She's not sentimental, is she?
Yeah, it's serious though.
They is irritating me. Nobody could put my eye drops in my eyes but Ray Tosh. I would fight anybody else who try to do it. I
You
think
would
she would
fight
say
me.
something. She would say,
Like,
"Yeah, I would fight her too," but she would put my head almost in a chokehold and hold me over and say something and make me look or something and then drop, and I'd be ready to hit her.
yeah, but it'll go in there,
And I come back asking her again, and we
and
fight.
I go do it again.
Let
But
me.
we always we don't do the zodiac sign stuff, but we are both Geminis, and she always says that I'm the bad twin and she's the good twin. I beg to differ sometimes, but but I really do need to buy drops though. Can you make that? Can you come make that happen?
Right. That's hilarious. um, Let me tell you what love is with Ray. So I'm the younger cousin, if y'all didn't know, one of the young cousins. And so I am by nature quiet, obviously, except with family and friends that I really know. And on this podcast, obviously, a little bit more of my personality comes out. And I will say this. for whatever reason, in the evenings toward bedtime generally, is when I want to talk. And Ray wants to go to bed.
That's the truth.
And she will literally entertain all my conversation, everything I want to talk about. Now she in the bed. And she wants to go to sleep. And low key really wants to kick me out. But she will not kick me out. She will let me just get tired of myself, basically, is what it kind of comes down to. And then she'd be like, turn off the light, hit the fan. You know, I got all these chores to do on the way out the door. But I mean,
Long
those
suffering.
things, long suffering, right? Because she be looking at me like, for real, I don't want to be bothered with you right now, right? But she does it, and I know she does it for the love of me. She don't have to do it as much now, right? But when we lived in the same city, lived in the same house, definitely entertained my shenanigans with questions and comments and stories and everything else, right? I guess this is when I wanted to talk. And she would just listen.
She chose the evening time, and I'm talking, I'll be ready to go to bed at 10 o'clock, and here she come. She's ready, and she got full conversation. And I'm just looking at her.
But it's appreciated, right? What would I do? Oh, and then, you know, there's other times during the day, you know, might be a little fired up. Actually, Shavonna and Ray, because there's some times I had to call in the middle of the day. Upset, might be snotting, might be crying, might not be crying, might just be fired up. And I talk it out, and they let me talk it out. Both of them let me talk it out. I got to get it off of me in the midst. And they listen, they give advice, they pray. Ooh, need some pray. Let me tell the people, y'all need some praying friends and family. Because you need it. Because you ain't gonna always want to do the right thing.
That's right. That's right.
You ain't gonna always want to do the right thing. But when you have people in your life, seriously, Shavonna, Ray, legit, I've called, I've been like, man, fired up. And they just listen to me. I mean, they crack jokes too, but they more rage cracking jokes than Shavonna. Shavonna be like listening intently.
Yeah, Shavonna's serious.
Shavonna be serious. And then she gonna say her piece. And she'll say, you all right? We going on. So, you know, I don't know. People being there when you need them to be it means a lot. Mm-hmm. And it could be, and I mean, you know, Shavonna talking about the eye drops. I mean, I'm talking about late night conversation, but those are the things that matter the most. It's those little things that people do for you. Which
and what comes to mind to me with Ashley, not one time that she was fired up, but more she was like when she went to get that COVID shot.
Oh man, I was woo.
And we had to pray in the COVID.
Listen, y'all, I had never experienced anxiety in my life until that day. I had to go get that shot. That is the truth. And I was like, I am panicking right now for real. Sorry, that's your story.
I was gonna say it was one time we wasn't usually when we doing stuff like that, we all scheduled to go together or try to go together or go me and Ray or Ray and Ashley, me and Ashley, or all three of us. We try to do stuff together. But that one time Ashley had to go by herself.
Worst experience of my life. I mean, it ended up being fine, y'all. I'm alive today, right? But I was upset. When I upset, and I was like, of all times, this is the one time nobody was available to go. But you know, y'all know during that time it was crazy. But yeah, I had to call out. Yeah.
You called Shavonna. I don't remember you called. Did you call me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you pray for her.
Because also to that point, the lady passed out in front of me, though. I just want to put the lady passed out, y'all. So I'm already dealing with the fact I'm not scared of shots. I don't particularly like them. I'm not scared of shots. I mean, it was a whole lot of they had a system, and it was just too much of a system for me. Too many going to this room, to that room, too much going on in the environment around me. I just take me in the room, give me the shot, let me sign the paper. All this other stuff, it just felt so taxing. But they were there. The OGs was there. I gotta say it. They was there. They was there in spirit. They weren't there physically because it would have been a different experience had they been there physically. But thank God for cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
And AirPods.
Oh yeah, but I had AirPods during that time, huh? I think I did.
I
Yeah,
don't know if I did or not.
but the lady did pass out, and that was all. I was like, I'm gonna walk out of here. We about to-
We had to get it to stay.
yeah, man, memories, guys.
Right. We
Memories.
that's all I'm gonna say. We've been through a whole lot of different stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
medical stuff, concerts, book stuff,
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of stuff, family stuff, friend stuff.
All of that equates to
Love,
what? Love,
love.
right? That's why I was so excited about it, explaining it. Not explaining it, but conversating about it because I'm not a lovey-dovey person. I'm not a touchy-feely person.
Nope.
So I don't like bodily fluids. There it is.
And I
So
do it just to make a mad.
yeah. I thought this would be an interesting conversation, and I felt like you two would probably be like, Ray want to talk about love? What?
Yeah, because she did not let on to what this subject matter was going to be tonight.
No,
And
we
we
don't
was-
talk today and everything. Yep,
Yeah, she kept this one close to the vest, Siobhan.
you did.
So what was y'all first reaction about when I said, "Hey, we talking about love" in y'all head?
I ain't know which direction of love we was going in.
Oh Lord.
Me either. I thought we was gonna talk about dating, and I was thinking, Lord, I just
Right.
that's what I really thought. I thought we was about to talk about dating and relationships, and I was just like, that's exactly what I thought. But I was gonna ride with you. That's love, because we was gonna do it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's what I
That's
thought. Honestly,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
Okay, so before we get off of here, everyone, just want to kind of give you just to reiterate some of the scriptures that I do have written down. Long suffering was 1 Corinthians 13:4. God is love is 1 John 4:7-8. Let's see. Love the enemy. And I found that to be really funny because, and I don't want to go back into it because that scripture is Luke 6:35. And it says, do good to them, right? And then it also says, lend them stuff, right? I'm paraphrasing, y'all. Don't be like, I ain't see stuff in the Bible, but it says that, right? So I found that so funny because as I was researching it, I don't want to go back into it because we're getting ready to get off of it, but I am going back into it. As I was researching different scriptures and all of that, I remember a scripture, Mark. No, did I write it down? Jeremiah. I think it's Jeremiah. What is it? 6? Might be 1 Samuel. I wrote down a lot.
You wrote a lot down. Which scripture are we talking about? Okay.
What is it? Right? I think it's 1 Samuel. And 1 Samuel 16:7. Because we are quick to say, the Lord knows my heart. Right? And in Samuel, he does speak about that. And in Jeremiah, it speaks about it as well. Because a lot of times we compute love with the heart, right? And Jeremiah 17:9 says, for the Bible, it says the God said, man, this is Old Testament also, right, y'all? God said that the heart is wicked, right? God's gonna be the only one to judge our heart. It's cursed, right? Right.
Mm.
But it also, if you read that whole book, it does come later on and says, um, I think in verse 10, it does turn around and say stuff like, he's the mender of all, basically, right? So with that being said, that's the reason why I believe that God is love is so prevalent, right? Um, because there's times when we say, man, the Lord knows my heart. Wait a minute now. Did you say that in love? Did you speak that in love? Right? And that's where that came from. Paul said that, speak in love. Let me see. Um, so those are some main scriptures. Like I said, the First John 4, 7 and 8, First John 3 and 18. Love is an action. It is an action. Take action, right? I encourage everyone, and don't be like me. I said pray. I should have prayed last night, right? Um, because that's an action that he told me to do, right? Um, and I said, instead of me saying, yes, Lord, I turned around and said, well, do you want me to pray today? Or do you want me to pray at the end of uh my notice? And of course, now I see I should have done it right then and there, right? But don't be like me. When you get a word, love is action. Speak your word, speak it in love, and be kind, because love is kind. Love is an action. All right. All right. So, to me, if anybody else doesn't have anything else to say, Shavana, Ashley,
I'm
this
good.
I'm good too.
being another episode of
Oh, please.
I See It.
What I said.
Good night, everyone.
Night, night.